And hi, welcome to Flair, and I'm Angie.
I'm Kandyce.
I am Katie.
And we are really excited to talk to you about bringing the end of the year in with style. As you know, at Flair, we like to embrace our teaching style, and hopefully you've already taken the style quiz and know which teaching style you are. We're all about embracing who you are as a teacher, getting you excited about being your authentic self and bring out your personality. And we know the end of the year is a really busy, really exciting, and really fun time for teachers. So, what are some tips that we have for ending strong with the M?
Well, we know that the end of the year can be stressful because we're all working really hard and everybody knows the end is coming and we all get a little bit anxious about that, right? The kids and us, and we're counting down the days. So because of that, we can tend to kind of come into conflict with people because we're short-tempered, we're tired. And so we need to kind of give each other grace and understand that we're all in the same place. We're all counting down. We're all like looking forward to summer vacation, and things are rough all over.
Yeah, I know I can feel it on my campus. We were doing first Secretary's Day, which was on Wednesday. We have this really great friend. She came up with this idea to do trees and then you glue candy on them, which is like really, really fun.
It
And we were
was
super
cute.
excited. And we were taking them around to people. And when people were at first like grouchy, like we're like, okay, well, here's your gift anyway, and then they were like, oh, happy. And so even when we were doing kindness, like they're kind of they're just so tired. It's not personal, they're just so tired. Are you seeing that on your campus, Katie, or no?
I think what I'm seeing most is May coming up into May, these last few weeks of the school year. It's we're still trying to teach and do these like the video with Mr. Morissette doing we're going to start a research paper.
Yeah.
We are not done. Second, guys, there is still 25 days of learning. And I feel like my stress and what I see with my colleagues and even my students is all of the end of the year stuff that's important every year, but it takes away from learning. And so it's, oh, one more thing. Okay, we're doing this tournament. We're doing this, it's all good stuff. I think that's the problem, is it's all amazing stuff. We're doing a bocce ball tournament. We're doing an end of the year bash with families and incoming students and parents. We're doing, gosh, I can't even think of it. There's just so many projects, but with the planning of all of those things, it takes away from the balance. And I think that's where my knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, it's something else. But like all of it is really good stuff. It's all positive. It's all great, but there's only so many times, like hours in the day, that I can be like, okay.
Right.
So it's just directions with testing being due and all the end of the school year deadlines and then all the fun stuff. And it's just trying to continue that. No, we still have a month of school left that I can teach you guys some things. Let's go. I think that balance has been tough.
And I'm thinking back to like all of April at our school site. We had, holy cow, we had spring festival. We had pancake breakfast for students. We had like the staff breakfast. We started testing. And so all of this has happened, and we had like assemblies to get ready for testing in the last 3 weeks. All this happened. And that's a lot of stress, like all the planning, bringing everything together and making sure that everybody's participating. And that is a huge stressor.
And I think that's what took me, like conversation with Flair and being with you guys talking about it. When I first used to say, oh, is all this stuff, people were like, well, that's not very kind of you. You have this choose kindness tattoo on your body and you're being kind of cranky. And so, I think the difference with that is not knowing, like, yes, on the calendar it looks great, but behind the scenes, all of the extra, we already don't have enough planning time to do what we need to do day to day. And then there's just so much more. So I feel like I'm being ungrateful when I'm not wanting to be gung-ho about all these extra activities, because I love the extra activities. Like there is this conflict, this internal conflict with me. at this time of year, and I think a lot of teachers feel that, is we want to do the fun stuff, but where's like that scale is constantly doing this right now. So I think that's my struggle. I don't know if you guys out there do that, but the balance and this, that's tough.
And I think on top of all that is we have like the uncertainty of next year where people are changing positions, we're losing teachers, we're getting new teachers, we don't know who they are, they haven't been hired yet. And so all of that uncertainty really adds to it. And then teachers who know they're going to be here next year want to plan for next year, which is totally understandable. I'm with you on that. But at the same time, like there's all this other stuff going on, and it's hard to find time to finish out the year and plan for next year.
I think I think also, like in my situation, I'm so proud of my students. I've trained them now that they are like, or they've trained whatever, they care, they're excited to show me what they've done, which is so great. And I've trained them to redo things over and over again. And now I get to grade all those essays as they come in again and again, a little better and a little better, and all those works cited pages and all those tribal projects. And it's like, oh, and then they, they bless their hearts. They think because they stayed up and did it that night, then I should have it graded by the next morning, but I stayed up and handed it into at 11. Why isn't it graded? And it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh my goodness, baby. No. And so they're like so excited, like, look what I did. I'm learning. How's my grade look? And they're trying to get qualified for end of the year. They're trying to get their grades situated. And so, kids who maybe have been slacking all year are all of a sudden pushing on I'm luckily not having that problem. My kids are all fine. But you hear teachers being like, oh, this kid hasn't done anything all year. And now they're like, and then teachers are like really torn. Do you let them redo stuff? How much do you let them redo? What is actually fair to the kids who did their work all year? That's a really deep and difficult conversation to have, I think.
Yeah. And then, you kind of feel like you want to help them out and you want them to be able to participate in everything. And where do you draw that line?
And then the different teaching styles, I feel, really start clashing. So some teachers are like, no, you should give them second and third and fourth chances, and they should be allowed to retake it. And the kids that they really care about and have connections with aren't able to participate in certain activities. And you can see them getting really aggressive and hostile to other teachers whose philosophy is, no, they need to be held accountable. Their boss isn't going to give them 2 or 3 chances. If you're late to work 3 times in a row, you lose your job. What are we teaching kids about being prepared adults? And the other side is saying back, but what are we teaching them about compassion and not quitting on themselves? And I think both styles are so right. And kids need both messages. And I think it's so challenging to watch those styles clash, and teachers legitimately start to get pretty irritated with each other at the end of the year. Also with testing, you're seeing teachers that really care about test scores and that have prepped their kids all year, and their kids are ready to test and they're excited to see what their test scores are. And then other teachers saying, I don't even care about test scores. I didn't even try. And you can see, the dichotomy between the styles as some teachers are like, how could you do that to our school? How could you do that to us? How could you not make jumps in testing? What is your job? And the other teacher saying, why do you care about state testing? It's not even valid. How will it be used in an AI world? And again, I think both perspectives are totally valid.
Yeah.
I think that's where the not taking things personal comes in. And it's so hard because we're human. Humans are meant to be selfish and we take things personal. Even though we're like, no, we got this. That's just it's human nature. And so when you see somebody doing something that is completely conflicting what you believe, but neither one of you are wrong. And that's the discussion that I think is the discussion right now, is how do you come to terms with being on a completely different side, if you will, but you're both right.
Yeah, that's the hard part. And I think a lot of that goes down to like, you have to really step back and look at it from both sides. Otherwise, we're going to get so tied up into what side we're on, and then it's hard to move anywhere forward from that.
And the problem is that can rip campuses apart, and it can cause really, and that animosity bleeds into kids. Even if you're, it's like a divorced parent. Like when teachers don't get along, that totally affects the campus and the kids and other teachers. And it's unprofessional and it's uncalled for. And we're better than that. And yet I feel like it's happening. And it's so easy when you find out somebody's been like trash talking you, right? And they've been saying hurtful things. Like, of course it hurts. And you want to protect yourself and you want to defend yourself. And you're like, why do you feel that way about me? And how do you move past that? And I just want to honor all those teachers out there who have that happen. And it's bad enough, I think, that our kids there's not a teacher out there that all their kids like them. And if that's you, you're delusional. Like you're not being honest about this.
Yeah.
You're doing something's not right.
Right.
I made someone mad at some point this year. You need to have a spine and a backbone. And I think,
yeah, because if you're making kids work, they're not going to love you all the time if they're learning, right?
I think that's boundaries in the professional world, and as a parent, as aunts, uncles, white people love going to grandma's house. There's those boundaries of what's okay and what's not. And I think that's balancing the parent side and the teacher side. Again, going back to the human factor, it's a lot because we're working on our kids, our students, and then our kids at home. And just the frenzy of that I'm thinking the consensus that I keep looping back to through all this discussion is it's a bigger balance this time of year than any other time of the year.
Definitely.
We want to finish things strong, but we're all so tired.
Right.
So let's.
Sorry.
No.
The students, though, also, we have like a rise in behavior challenges because they're feeling it's the end of the year and I'm not going to see my friends all summer. At our school site, our 8th graders go to 2 different high schools. So their friend groups are being broken up. And so they have like all this going on. And then it's really tough. And so then we see a lot more behavior challenges because of that, because they're dealing with all that internal struggle.
Yeah. So let's try to talk about, first, let's just honor the fact that it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be overwhelmed. In fact, you're a good teacher. You're probably feeling all of those things. And the more we care, I think the more wounded we get when we're attacked. I see teachers who really care. Those are the ones who sometimes have a difficult time when their kids aren't working or their kids say something. And they'll get really mad and rant and get super aggressive. And then they'll say like, it's just because I care so much, So I think we just need to honor the good in that. But now we need to remember to breathe. And
words out of my mouth. I just caught myself going, okay, everyone watching, ready? Okay, no, really. At this time of year, we get like, oh my gosh. So that's what Flair Educators does differently. So now we've agreed. We're all on the same page. It's hard. So what are we going to do about it?
Yeah. There's a couple of things we can do. First, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I think now's a really good time to do the dump list where you just, put on some music that's like more either get it out kind of music or, loud kind of music, and write down everything that you have that's bothering you, that, just get everything out that you have to do. And then go ahead and start highlighting. And, your first color is like things that need to be on the to-do list, what needs to be done tomorrow, what needs to be done this week, what needs to be done before the end of school. And then things that it's time to let go. And there's a couple ways that you can release them. One way is you can tear them into little pieces and throw them in the garbage. I'm a big like I think it's kind of fun. I use that. There's a native tradition where you take any of your worries or problems and you roll them up and you put them in a pot or a bucket, and then you go out and you burn them and you just give them. and like you send them to the Great Spirit. And I love that. If I'm feeling really negative and like really like underappreciated, I use that one. But my favorite one, and the one I give to my students, if you're feeling not overwhelmed, but depression, so you're just feeling like nothing I do matters and it's too much and I'm not valuable, and you're actually hitting walls with serious depression, try this. Draw on a piece of paper a vase, any kind of vase you want, that holds flowers, make it nice and big, and then rip it into pieces. Cut it out and then rip it into pieces. And then on each piece of paper, write something that you love about life or about yourself. And for me, when I get really depressed, I can't even do it for myself. I have to do people I love. So I just did this the other day because I just hit rock bottom and I was just feeling like such a horrible person and like no one would ever like me and I don't know what I have to give. And so I took my vase. I was like, time to do my vase. And I hadn't done it in a couple of years. I was like, time to do my vase. This is what I always have the kids do. So this is what I'm going to do. And I drew my vase and it was Kandyce and Katie and Kim. And pretty soon I just started putting my kids down, my students, my personal kids, my horses, which if you watch our channel, you see my horses all the time, my big gray horse. I'm sure you've seen him. He got a big old, piece. And I was like, oh yeah, Max. And so I started, putting together my vase, and then it's this taped piece of happiness. And then in my house, I actually have a vase I bought at the dollar store that's all crinkled and it's really pretty and it's all broken, but it's put together. And it reminds me like, okay, we're broken. We screw up. We feel bad about ourselves, life, but we're beautiful and we matter and we have people that really matter to us. And that really helps me this time of the year. And what I love about that is it helps me refocus my energy not on the people who don't like me or don't appreciate me, but on the people who do love me and do give me good energy and I give them good energy, and our lives would not be whole without each other. And I get that kind of perspective. Like when I have those classes that are super hard, that I'm like, the way I always get through them is I pick one student. I always start with one student that wants to learn, one student that wants to connect, and I'll show up every day. And I'll even plan the lesson for that one student. I don't let anyone know it. And then the next week I'll do it for 2 and 3 and 4. And it never fails. It's the end of the year. I did that for my third hour, and my third hour loves school. They love coming to class. They're super fun now. They're all passing. And one of them's at a D and he's like, when do I come in to retake it? And it's totally changed the atmosphere because I started just with the one positive theme. And I think even at the end of the year, it's like never too late to start with like the one positive thing for grounding,
I love the metaphor in that, like when everything falls apart, we can still put it back together and we can move on and find the beauty in things. That's amazing. And I think that's kind of something that we need to have at the back of our mind right now. Like sometimes, especially in April, it feels like things are all falling apart. Like we're running this race and we're falling behind because we have so much going on and we can feel very defeated, but there's hope and we can put it all back together.
Well, I obviously needed to participate in this today, and I'm that those of you watching can join us for our next discussion, because our voices just sitting here talking with you guys. Sorry, I got emotional. I got the visual of the vase happening and I'm like, oh, why do we always give our students these great coping skills? Great things that they can do, yet somehow
we forget
that we can use them too. That was powerful, Angie. Thank you.
And I think that, that's in our nature as teachers, is we're always providing for everyone else. And we're making sure that they're okay, but we forget to make sure that we're okay.
And it's okay to be broken, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I just had this conversation literally yesterday, and as I'm hearing you say it, I'm like, oh, was it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be all of the things,
Yeah.
but it's not okay to stay there.
Right. Yeah.
That's it's okay to feel these things and allow yourself to feel all the emotions. And that vase imagery, I just can't get it out of my head. Like that's going to be a game changer for me going into May, because it is okay that stuff happens.
It's okay to rip it up, and it's okay to be angry. And I love one of the things
It's
that
okay to be angry. That's another one. It's okay to be angry. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I
no,
tell
interrupt. Yeah.
myself all the time, because I work with students with severe special needs, and I feel like we discredit so much of their autonomy of it's okay, just be happy, do your work, and don't let those emotions feel. And it's okay to be pissed off. You can be angry, but you don't get to punch me when you get angry. It's okay to be angry. Let's figure out some other strategies. And I feel like just now with this base, I'm like, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be struggling. It's okay to be, man, did not want to get out of bed this morning, but I was so collaborating with both of you. It's okay to feel those things. But now what? It's, hey, let's have the discussion and realize that we're not alone, and that we acknowledge that it's okay to have these feelings, but don't live there. And I think that's where this I'm thinking of the word, Angie usually help me with those, this repair and collaboration with what we're doing on this platform, and why it's so
it's so meaningful to so many different people and so important right now.
really life-changing.
And we need to, like, it's okay to have all those feelings and to be in that place, but we also need to make sure that we're not holding on to resentment, because that's when we have real struggles, and that's when communication's broken apart, relationships are broken apart, and it's really hard to come back from that once you have let that kind of sit and you're not moving on, you're not trying to make things better, you're just holding on to those feelings.
Well, it's like with our students, if we think back to the year, we can all think of, one of the teachers was telling me about a student that I guess I used to complain about at the beginning of the year. And they were like, I would never time him out to. And I was like, why? I get along with him really well. And they were like, oh, well, you didn't in September or something. And I was like, well, oh, I forgot. Like, I literally had forgotten. And this kid was like kind of a terror. He told the vice principal to F off, like in my class during my observation. And now he's an absolute delight, does his work, asks me for help. Like as soon as I give the assignment, he raises his hand and he just needs a little more support. And once he got over, instead of being embarrassed, advocating for himself and saying, no, I want to pass, I want to fit in, then now he's absolutely fantastic. And I thought, wow, Kandyce, when you were just talking, I was like, because if you keep going, you forget, you move on. It's for good to everyone bad. And then that's what holds the relationships together. So if you love that person, you care about them, then off to the good. And if they hold on to it, this is my big aha moment in my life, because I'm such a people pleaser. And a lot of teachers are people pleasers, and that can be really hard on us. It can cause a lot of depression. It can cause a lot of self-hatred. Not that we have those feelings towards other people, but we're just like, I was just raised to be such, I think all three of us kind of have that a little bit. Not everybody's going to like us, and it's okay. Our focus has to be on ourselves and trying to know we do the right thing every day, and holding on to our narrative of ourselves and what we're giving to the world, and not how people take it. And so one final thing that I did with my students that I'm really excited about, and they taught me, is we were talking about communication. The kids were being mean, and I don't like it. And they were saying like stupid and bad words and stuff. And I was like, why are you doing that in my class? To be nice, to be kind. And then they're always like, we're sorry, Mrs. Stevens, we'll be kind. And then under their breath, they'll call them a name again. So then I was just like, ugh. So I was like, that's enough. So for my SEL time, I was eating crackers, like little saltine crackers, and I knew the kids were hungry. So I was like, oh, do you guys want some crackers? And they're like, yeah, we want crackers. So I give kids crackers. And then to this one kid, he's really funny. He's like a little ping pong ball and he's jumping all over. And a lot of other teachers maybe don't have as much success with him, but I quite adore him. And so I was like, all right, well, let's see where I'm giving them things. So I took a bite out of the cracker. I took a bite out of it and handed it to him. And I made sure, and everybody went, oh, and they looked. And I thought, okay, we're going to see how it goes. And he goes, thanks, Miss. And he grabs it and eats it. And I was like, because of course I was ready to do this lesson about like, do we hand everybody the same level of kindness in our communication? And do we hand them the same tone? And our words are like gifts, and the way we say things are like how the gift is packaged, right? So I might say I love you, but right, but like how so I've got this really great like lesson, and he grabs it and he eats it, and he's just so happy, and he's like, "You're so great." After I gave him a half-eaten cracker. And I was just like, and the kids just started laughing because they're watching me react and I'm feeling horrible. So I grab him a big thing of crackers and I hand it to him. And I'm like, why did you, and here I am. I gave him a bad communication. He accepted it with love and gratitude because he loved me. And it was because I always give him the benefit of the doubt. And so dang it, he was going to give me the benefit of the doubt, even though it was a half-eaten cracker, and I respond by giving him like this huge thing. And he was legitimately hungry. And so it was we turned it into this lesson, and I gave the kids note cards, and I was like, I want you to write symbols about what are objects and how they could represent communication. And then tell me if it's positive or negative. And they did things like balloons and broccoli and how it might be healthy words, but if people don't like the healthy words, they'll hold it against you, and how balloons can pop in your face and they seem really happy and exciting at once, but maybe they're too big and too much energy. And so it pops and causes people to have, and they did clocks. But sometimes your energy is too fast and your communication is too quick, or sometimes it's not right. The timing isn't right. And so they can't receive it.
That's really good.
That is,
just thinking about
our students are amazing. Like that pause of just like, hey, let's have this moment to do this lesson. I think that is huge. And that's going to be something they remember.
Those are the moments they remember.
Right.
That like off the cuff, let's take this moment and make it a learning opportunity.
So in our communication, remember to do positive communication. Remember, it's a great time to send positive text to parents. It's a really great time to send out a little group email to all the parents, praising their students' behavior and how excited you are for the finals. I did that with a project, and every kid showed up and did their project. I had 142 kids, and I think there's only one that isn't going to be able to get it done. And that's just incredible.
Amazing.
And I think celebrating that, please, teachers, celebrate your successes, because it's so easy to feel like, oh, my kids aren't doing that, or they're not working for me. And it's not true. You have kids right now who are working really hard for you.
Yeah. And also to show gratitude towards each other, like the staff on campus. We just had administrative assistant day. So just thanking them and for everything that they do to keep the school running, because really they do a ton. And being able to do that and just taking that moment to sit down and think about how am I going to thank them for all they do, and writing a quick little note, giving them just a little gift, that their faces, they were so happy to be recognized. And then also like our colleagues, our teachers, like we help each other all the time. But are we thanking each other for everything that we're doing? And even if it's just taking the time out to listen to one another, or to like, hey, thanks for letting me vent to you the other day. We all have people like that on campus, but being grateful for that and letting people know that you are, I think that kind of gives us something to go on as well. It builds us up as we do that.
To follow that, Kandyce, you said exactly what I was going to say, but more eloquently. And I wanted to give an example of it this last week, because there is never time. My support staff and what I do, they come in when the students come in. They leave when the students leave, and those are their hours. They often stay late because they choose to, so they can be in their best self for our students. And we have a few minutes every week, if we're lucky, that we can collaborate, but it's 9 times out of 10, it is get iPads programmed, make sure things are copied, make sure things are safe, like all those classroom management things. And so we don't ever really get the time to sit and just be. And we talked a lot in passing, again, like you just said, hey, thank you for that, thank you for this, as you're and they came in and everybody's like, okay, what's the project today? We have 20 minutes. And they're like, I don't have much time, let's get this done, because they come to work ready to work. And to all of you support staff, DIS aides, special ed assistants, all of the crossing guards, all the people that are outside of the 4 walls of the classroom that make our school function. Thank you, because you come in not knowing what's going to happen that day, and you come ready for what it is. But I had my staff sit down, and they all were visibly uncomfortable. Like, oh, I got called to the principal. Okay, why
am I sitting
they were
here?
visibly like, but there's stuff to do. There's stuff to do. I don't want to say there's stuff to do. They were super professional. They didn't say a word, but I could see it in their body language. And we spent about 10 minutes, and I just thanked them. I said, I want to stop and think. I said, we have been running from this thing to that thing to this thing to that thing. And I need you guys to stop and listen to each other and reflect and listen to your own thoughts, because we're our own worst critics. And I made them, I strongly encourage, I shouldn't say made. They had to share something with me that was a strength of theirs that they brought to the team, something that they were proud of. And we don't stop and do that enough. Not one of them could say, this is what I bring to the team, without some coaxing and me saying, actually, you do this and you do this and you do this and you do this and you do this. And then they're like, oh, I said, would you ever tell your students or your own children or your niece or your nephew the things that you tell yourself in your own mind? Ever? And one of them goes, well, no, that'd be rude. And I was like, obviously. So having that 10 minutes of taking that and telling them, reflect, look at this student. We were sitting in the middle of the room, and I just kind of went around my classroom and looked at individual stations of students and said, remember, it's looping back to what you said in September about the student you were venting about. I said, remember this school year. And I listed off some things that happened in August and September. And we were all like, that was this year. That was this school year. Because when you're in it day in, day in, day in, day out, for me, I shouldn't say you, for me personally, I lose sight of how much growth we've made. And so to sit down and take that few minutes to go, no, stop focusing on the next thing, because the next thing's always going to be there. And just set a timer for a few minutes and look around your classroom. That's what I do. Or look at your papers, or look at whatever you need to envision those students that are in your mind that you impact every day. And looking around the room, and I was like, this is what they were doing when we met them. This student was writing their name, again, a severe, profound group of adult students. I had a student that was writing their name about 5.5, 6 inches, all caps, kind of like this. And a goal they had, because I want them to be able to sign their name on a paycheck someday, they're now 4 inches, 1.5 inches wide, because we've slowly but surely, and it's not down small yet. We're like, it's not small yet, but look at where they started. I have a student who couldn't cross the threshold to go into a grocery store to pick up groceries. And that's part of our curriculum as adults, that couldn't go to the grocery store with their family. And so they didn't get to go. And we have worked all year of just getting across the threshold of the grocery store and leaving. Last week, you guys, this student went into Winco.
Oh my gosh.
To the baking aisle, picked out what we were going to use for cooking, and walked out, paid for it. So all the steps.
Oh my gosh.
It was like a 20-minute thing. And they're like, well, we only did one lab. We only bought one thing. And I was like, whoa,
that's amazing.
They only bought one thing, but think of where we were in August, that nobody thought they could even go into the store, let alone an item, match it to a picture that we needed, go to the cash register, pay for, like all the steps, guys, and waiting. Like, I get emotional about that because, well, your student just went to the store and picked up some cake mix. Oh my gosh. and savoring those those little moments that seem so small when you look at them in May. But if you
Right.
remember where you started, and
Right.
that applies for grocery shopping, that applies to writing your name, that applies to history and math and language of, oh, they're still struggling, but look at the progress. And that 10 minutes talking with my staff to think about, that's a really loud truck, if you could hear that, sorry about that. To take just a few minutes, it doesn't need to take an hour. Like by the time you're done watching this, I hope you're making notes about the students that have really made progress that you may not even have recognized until you start going, wow, we really did a good thing. Because we're, as teachers, for me, I'm always thinking, okay, how can I improve? How can I do better? What's the next thing? What's the next project? What's the, to keep them growing? And I think it's important, especially this time of year, to pause and go, you know what? No, we did good.
Yeah. And I think as teachers, it's hard for us to recognize our accomplishments personally. But when you look at it from that lens where you're looking at like all your students can do now that they couldn't do at the beginning of the year, that helps us recognize like what we have actually accomplished. And because we're so tied to the kids, that's everything is student progress and how they feel in our classrooms, and everything is from there. But that's all because of teachers.
The irony though is the activity was to boost up my staff because I was tired and I got to see they were tired. And it turned out as we finished the discussion that I was like, well, they kept saying, well, but you're the one that gave us the idea to do this, or you helped us see this. And the conversation ended up having me go, oh yeah, we did do that. That helped a lot. So I think having that conversation with colleagues, because even giving you that whole big long example, it wasn't about me. And I realized that I am the common denominator because it was pointed out, and having that conversation to celebrate and be like, yeah, we didn't get maybe this one thing, and that's what we're focused on. I didn't get that one thing. Oh, I wanted to do that all year. We didn't get that done. But all of this, all of that beautiful, looping it back to what Angie said about the vase. There's a little teeny tiny piece missing, and that's what we're focused on. But the vase we built throughout the year is beautiful. So I don't know. I kind of went on a tirade, but I'm really, really proud of my students and the progress we've made this year. And I just want everybody that's part of this discussion to think about those moments, because we all have them and we don't acknowledge them as often as we should. So,
well, and that's why I think it's important that the end of the year is a celebration, and you get to give yourself permission to celebrate that you made it, that you're here, that you're still in the classroom, that you care, that, you know, give yourself permission to end on a high note. And end as if a lot of, you know, like my students taught me, you might say something kind and they might hand you back a half bitten cracker. And, you know, you could take that really personally. He could have been like, why did every other kid get a full cracker? And I didn't get a full cracker. He didn't. He took what I gave him and he made the best of it, and he celebrated it and he was excited about it. And I just thought, wow, like here's this.
Listen, for you, like that's, and that's, I think, circling back to when we started this call and this video to share on our platform, is we're all very, very tired. And starting from, I'd be interesting to look at the edit on this before we share it, because with you guys are watching this, I'm curious to see what we looked like at the beginning, because I know I was like I'm tired. And just 40 minutes with colleagues talking about what we're feeling, acknowledging and owning that, yep, this is where I am, but not staying there, and having that discussion of like, let's finish strong. We can do this, reflect and celebrate. I hope everyone watching this feels as good as I do right now, because this hour gave me so many ideas that I can take back next week and be like, you know what, it's okay. And I'm glad I got up today, and thanks for teaching me some things.
Let's do that. Let's everybody who please like and subscribe and help us spread to other teachers.
Share with somebody who you're grateful for in your life, who helps you get through this rough time in the school year.
Yes. And if you're getting this video, you're getting it from a teacher who loves you, who you've made a difference in their life. You might be a student or a teacher, but we're sending love to you. And also, please let's actually end on a strong note. Please participate with us and put something that you know is a personal strength of yours in the comment.
And it's going to be hard, and you can do it.
Yeah. And so it's going to be super hard. So Katie, we're going to make you do it. So tell us.
Okay.
You have to, because like it's your idea. So
And that's the thing, is it's so okay for everyone else to do it. I need staff to do it and be brave and be vulnerable. I want my students to do it, but we need to lead by that. And so it seems like, well, I don't want to sound selfish or cocky or come off arrogant, but you're with all these students all the time. They look up to you. You got to own, like, yeah, I'm actually okay with this. So let's start there. Just find one. I'm not saying to write an essay or a list. The list of dumping of things we're frustrated with is a lot longer, but we can find one thing that we bring to the classroom that we're good at to end the year. And please join the conversation, because that list is going to grow. And just looking at that one positive and going, oh yeah, well, they do that. Bet you you can easily list at least one thing for all the colleagues in your life that make your job easier.
So Katie, what's yours?
What is yours, Katie? You're avoiding it.
And that mirror, hate it. Mine is to be in the moment, just like just now. I think that's a great strength that I bring, is when things go crazy, I actually tell everybody to stop and go, okay, what can we do from here? Instead of, it's 9:03, we have to be on this, we have to be on that, we have to be on this. My strength is, I really want to know you and your strengths and what you bring to the team, because we all have them. And my strength is making sure you know yours.
I love that. Okay, I feel like I have to go next. My strength, I think, is listening and reflecting. I feel like I'm always that person for everyone. But I also feel like I'm good at doing that.
You are good at that. You're also really good at follow through. Huh. We have for you today. Thank you so
much.
No. Because it's hard. Like if you're in the comments like, ugh. Okay. So my strength is, I will always, this is true of me, I will always try something with my best honest efforts. So if anyone says, try this in the class, I will be like, okay. And I will, man, I'll do it. I'll show up no matter how crazy it is. Like I am willing to definitely stretch what I think I can do, and what I think my kids can do. And I'm willing to try things that we did a project this year that I thought for sure they were going to fail, and they were so good. The principal made a literal slideshow to show the superintendent.
They were so beautiful.
And I remember handing them out and thinking, oh, I don't know. And in they came. I just sent a lot of good parent emails. Thank you so much for helping your kids make these amazing projects. And all of a sudden, in they started coming. And it was incredible to see parents and kids support and how excited they were. And I had kids coming in saying like, oh, you guys, I had kids coming in saying, my dad helped me make this project and he hadn't talked to me in a whole month. And it was my favorite thing because I got to be with my dad.
That's so sweet and sad at the same time.
But sending those parent emails to all parents caught a whole bunch of parents who didn't see them, maybe didn't have full custody. So they got to come in and help in this new way with this little tribal project we did. And it ended up, not only did they surprise me and wow me and support each other, and I let them grade each other, grade themselves. And that ended up being really positive too. But yeah, I think my strength is that I'm willing to fail, I guess.
No, but I think you have the determination to like make it a success.
I try.
Even if you feel like it might be failing, you find a way to make it successful.
That's what we try at Flair, because as I brought everybody together and I'm like, here we go, guys. So I really hope that we keep, like, of course we'll get better because we have you guys, but I really love that people are supporting us and like how fast we're growing. And it's just really exciting.
Yeah. And we can't wait to see what your strengths are.
So just to say, our strengths. Yes, we want to know, because we want to know.
Yeah, and we really want we want you to be included. So in case you didn't know, on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock p.m. California time, which is Western time, Pacific time, Pacific Standard Time. We have a little group where we get on and chat. And if you're interested in that, all you have to do is leave us a comment in YouTube, or you can go to our website and email us directly, and you can come talk to us about whatever you're feeling. And we do a lot of rant and repairing, and we would love to have you if you need a positive support system and you need to remember, how awesome you are, then you're always welcome to come join us.
You can also send us a message on Facebook through our Facebook, and DM on Instagram, and we can forward that information to our team and support you the best way we can. So we're here to support you, to rant, to rave, and to repair, and to help you make sure you have your flair finishing out the year.
We all need a little flair, especially right now.
Hope this was helpful. Have a wonderful day. Keep enjoying your style, being yourself, and follow your heart, because it's in the right place.
In the year strong.
Yeah. Muscles. Bye, everyone.